everybody, it's Jim from WildGravityTravels.com. Today our travels take us to beautiful Miami, Florida, and we are on the wonderful Enchantment of the Seas from Royal Caribbean International Cruise Line. And we are pushing away, as you heard the horn sound there just a moment ago. We're pushing away from the dock now, headed out on an adventure. Coming up in this video, we will see a ship tour, as well as probably some other video highlights from around the ship itself and our ports, which include Nassau, Coco Cay, and Key West. So hopefully we'll be getting some video from some of those places, if not all of them. Stay tuned. And now we are just going to check out some video of sailing out of Miami. So what we're actually doing here is we are sailing into this little, I don't know, call it a water version of a cul-de-sac, if you will, and we're going to turn around back here and actually sail out the other directions. So when the video resumes after this point, we'll be turning around. We'll be seeing Miami up close for a second, and then we'll be turning around to head out to sea. So we've made it into the cruise turnaround basin at this point. And here over on the left we can see a closer up look at the American Airlines Arena, home to the Miami Heat. Here in Miami, of course. And we're going to be turning around right now, just basically making a giant U-turn almost, kind of spinning in a circle, and then heading out. So that will be up next at some point or another. So as you can see, we're still turning. The American Airlines Arena is off this side here, off the port side of the ship. That is the left side of forward motion. And then we turn around and we see this bridge here, which we actually came over to come into Port of Miami. On up here, we can actually see some of Fort Lauderdale, way off in the distance there. That's where bigger ships, right now, bigger ships like Oasis Allure leave, much bigger, and ships with more offerings. But there are definitely some offerings here on Enchantment of the Seas. For a tour of Allure of the Seas, check out our video on this YouTube page, Wild Gravity Travels. And also be sure to check out our post on WildGravityTravels.com, showing a behind-the-scenes look at Allure of the Seas, one of the biggest ships operating in the world. So now we've made our turn here, and we are headed out of the port of Miami. I'm recording this narration here for this moment from home after the fact. A lot of wind, headwind in this area of the video. So you can see some of the more expensive, I would imagine, condos on the left and right. On the left there, just beyond those buildings, is Miami Beach. I'm not too familiar with the city of Miami, but according to Google Maps, that is where Miami Beach is. So we're heading on out this inlet. You can see we're following another ship. That's the Carnival something, I don't remember. But it is a Carnival ship. And we're just kind of cruising gently out of this inlet. So coming up next, we'll be getting a look from around the ship as well as the ports. So again, just stay tuned for all of that. So we're going to start our tour of Enchantment of the Seas now from the back of the ship. On the top, one of the top upper decks, deck 10, we're going to work our way down from here. Not a whole lot above deck 10 other than like Viking Lounge for your more frequent cruisers, more frequent than us even. So here at the back of the ship, this is the absolute back, as you can see looking down this way, looking down that deck there and out at the water. First at the back of the ship we have the rock wall. We're going to walk across the decks, zigzagging our way down on this ship tour. So this is the rock wall, currently not open, but you can see there's 3 climbing spots for the rock wall. And then just beyond that, these windows are actually inside here is the gym. It has a lot of treadmills, ellipticals, dead weight machines, different lifting equipment, and basically what you'd expect to find in a pretty nice gym, actually. On up ahead here is going to be Shuffleboard. The ship looks like it's actually gotten rid of its running track, or has boxed off part of the running track. Not really sure what that's about, or what's going on with that. In this area here, this wall right here is actually where the running track would go. So probably best to just run on the treadmill now. So here up ahead you see the shuffleboard. And this is on both sides. This is pretty much mirrored out. And coming up next, we'll take a look at the pools from above. But first, we're going to take a look down into, this is the Solarium Area. Looks like it could have been at one point the adults only pool, but there's no signs up indicating that. But this is a nicer, like, enclosed pool basically, with this roof structure overhead here. You can see the pool's enclosed, so weather can't get in or out. Here's your shuffleboard equipment, all right in here. So again, coming up next, we'll look at the main pool area on Enchantment of the Seas. So here we are looking down at the main pool area. We can see there's one pool here. It's currently got a net over it. It's roped off. They were doing some water safety practices so that all the employees, whether they're new or old, continue to stay certified in emergency procedures for the cruise ship. Beyond that, we're going to check out the other pool, and then there's a kids splash area. What you do see in the distance here is a screen. They actually show movies at night on that screen. There's basically a daily guide telling you everything going on around the ship called a cruise compass. On Royal Caribbean they call it the cruise compass. And for that, it'll tell you what movie's showing that night, parties, activities going on all around the ship. Keeps you up to speed on everything. Pretty cool. So this is the main pool area from above. We'll probably take a little short video of us walking down on that actual deck here coming up. But you can see there's a few hot tubs, at least 3 hot tubs it appears on this main pool deck. This is looks to just be a regular pool, 5 foot 6 inches deep. Not too big because the ship itself holds about, I believe it's 1,600 people in total. So as we walk along here, it's kind of a cool sky bridge what we're on right now. If you're wondering what these white bars are, if you look across here, we're basically on the same thing mirrored on the other side. And down here is a split pool. On one side of the pool, it's about 1 foot 6 inches deep, I believe. Maybe not even 1 foot 6. Yeah, it looks like it's just 1 foot deep. And on the other side is more 5 foot 6 depth. So you can see there's definitely a little kids swimming area added, even on this ship. And then there's a kids splash area right here under that screen we talked about. Just beyond that, we see one of the many bars on the ship. If you get bored, it's always good to have a drink. You can get a drink in a pineapple, a drink in a coconut, and tons of specialty drinks offered on board all of the Royal Caribbean ships. So one final look at the pool deck from above and the main area of the top deck of the ship. We're going to check out the front of the ship here in just a moment, and then we'll be on to deck 9. So here we are on the front of the ship, and we see the jump zone here. Basically 4 nice trampolines where you'll be harnessed up and you can bounce. Controlled situation here. And looking down through this window is actually the Windjammer area. We'll be checking that out here coming up as well. Might be hard to see through there right now. We'll check out Windjammers from the inside once we get back inside. So here's the front of our ship. You probably saw some of it in our sail away video. Actually, you did see some of it in our sail away video from Miami. Here we are out in kind of the open water. This video of the ship tour is being taken on our day at Coco Cay, our Royal Caribbean and Celebrities private island. So as I just mentioned, Deck 9 is home to the Windjammer restaurant, serving breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between lunch and dinner. We're going to take a quick walk through here and check out all of Windjammer. So starting off here, we have a salad bar. This is lunchtime, by the way, so dinner just gets a little more gourmet. Dinner almost basically offers the same exact food that you can get in the main dining room in case you're not into that formal setting of setting down and having a server every day. So you see we have juice selections here. Soda's just outside. They also have a freestyle machine. If you buy the soda package, you get a cup with that. But you have your bread selections, and then all of up here in this main atrium, Centrum, if you will. For lunch they always have burgers, hot dogs, and then some other selections from the main area for lunch. Almost always they feature an Asian flavors section that includes rice and different curries. Over here today looks like we have ribs, seafood paella, and then there's always a nice dessert bar with different selections here. Always great food selections. If I went over or tried to list everything Royal Caribbean serves on even a cruise ship this small, you would see the post would be 10 miles long. It's just the food options are plentiful and different. It's a chance to try things you have never tried before. Coming from a chef's perspective like myself, it's a great place to try food that you may not ever want to pay for, as it's all inclusive and you can get as many plates of food as you like. So that's a basic look at the Windjammer restaurant. Coming up next, we'll be walking across the pool decks and taking a look at everything offered there. Stay tuned. So now here you can see we are on the actual pool level. We were just up above there walking across those bridges, taking a look downward. Now we're closer to the pools. Not much else to note different from down here that we couldn't see from up there, other than there is an ice cream machine serving ice cream through most of the middle hours of the day back here. Vanilla and chocolate ice cream, cones, etc. And that, again, like most of the food on board the ship, is included. And here again is a look at the bar area, serving again all different types of specialty drinks and that. And then we get a nice full look at the pools coming up here. Basically same thing we saw from above, so not going to stay on video too long down here again, as we're pretty much seeing the same thing. Lots of great pool areas. They also hold like a late night dance party on board the ship at some points out here. And again, a look back at that movie screen right here. So here we check out the Solarium Pool area, complete with 2 hot tubs on each side, one on each side of main pool area. And we can see the little showers here, all kind of neat themed. Looks like the roof was added after the fact. You can kind of tell from the old handrails being there to the new windows now enclosing it above where we were looking earlier. Another thing that's back here in the solarium just past that is the Enchantment Day Spa. And you can see there the entrance to the spa, and that actually is also how you get to the gym we showed you through the windows. Over on the other side is a small snack bar. We'll walk over there and check out their offerings. They generally have like small pressed panini sandwiches as well as cookies. Late night they serve pizza. They are one of the late night options. So after like 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock, the restaurants, all the main restaurants close, and this becomes one of your like 2 options on the ship to check out for food. So here we come over to this little snack area. They also do, through the middle of the day, they do like small salads, different types of salads. Create your own salad. Juice bar offered again. And then as we look over this way, we see some sandwiches. And looks like they're carving some roast beef right now for lunchtime. A couple different soup choices. And then again, they have the panini choices over here. So this is a look up from deck 9 looking down. This is the Centrum or central area of the ship. They do a lot of performances down here. We'll go down and see that deck here in a little bit. But it's kind of cool to see the vastness looking straight down of all these decks. Even the small ships can look big in certain places. So here we are on deck 6, and deck 6 is home to a lot of the services inside the ship, including Chops Grill, which you can find on almost, or I think pretty much at this point, every Royal Caribbean ship now. It's a specialty dining, so it's one of the few food options not included with your cruise, but it does offer signature style steaks and other food options. Over here towards the left is the Schooner Bar. And the Schooner Bar is just basically a lounge bar. Has a piano inside and a bar. They do a lot of trivia here and different other functions, cruise activities, trivia, just different things here. But it's a great place to catch a pianist playing at any point in the day. Not any point in the day, but certain points of the day they play different musics and stuff like that. So this is the Schooner Bar, and again, another one of those features that you find all over all the ships of Royal Caribbean. So Deck 6 on Enchantment of the Seas is also home to a small but nice art gallery in the Centrum Area again. Over here on the other side you can see the next cruise center. On past that will be the photo center where you can view your photos, but here is the Ben & Jerry's as well as the Latitudes, offering snacks here as well, and also Starbucks beverages for an extra purchase, just like Ben & Jerry's. Here's the computer lab, where you can get computer access. There's also Voom Internet at Sea if you can't stay off your social channels while you're on a 3, 4, 5, 7 day cruise. So continuing along on Deck 6, we have the shops on board. Basically jewelry, watches. There's one small regular Royal Caribbean shop, and then over here these walls actually open up to show picture highlights of the cruise as we progress. There's several photo opportunities where they take your picture. Then they offer, of course, just like every theme park does, they offer several photo packages available for purchase of your photos. So we're going to continue along this right side here and see the shops on board. So again, mostly just watches, jewelry, stuff like that. But then you do have the one main souvenir shop over here, selling stuffed animals, Royal Caribbean merchandise, towels, shirts, cups, etc. All available right here. So here as we come towards the front of the ship, or as far toward the front as we can go, we see the Orpheum Theater, and that's a pretty decent sized theater for this size ship. Nothing too big or too major, but this is the upper level of the Orpheum Theater. So one level down is the actual bigger seating section. This balcony section doesn't have as many seats as some of the bigger ships do, but they don't need to accommodate as many people. So it does work out good for this ship, this size ship. So next up we're going to head down to Deck 5 and explore everything in there. More bars and lounges coming up. So here is about as close as we're going to get to Casino Royale. On board Enchantment of the Seas, we could see several, just like every other cruise ship we've been on, basically the same offerings of slot machines and roulette, blackjack, etc. A decent section, split half and half. One side is smoking, one side is non-smoking. So if you're not a smoker, you don't have to sit in a cloud to play slots. And they have from penny slots all the way up, all kinds of denominations, even for the blackjack tables and so on. So after walking through the casino, we see Boleros right here, kind of a Latin-inspired bar, if you will. Right now they kind of have an art gallery set up. They're going to do an art auction, but there is a bar here at Boleros. Really nice bar. Has different specialty drinks as well. You can order any of the specialty drinks from one bar at other bars across the ship. We have found, but they may not have them on the menu at that specific bar. So this is actually a dance floor for Latin salsa dancing and all sorts of. They hold a lot of the dance parties here in this one on this ship. But Boleros on the bigger ships is mostly your Latin flair club or party place. So there where the art is actually the stage, and then just tons of seating area around here as well as the bar. So here we are in the Centrum Area on Deck 5, looking just down at the main dance floor of the Centrum, where they hold a lot of the main parties, like 70s disco night. They usually have one of those, or an 80s, sometimes it's an 80s party. I believe on this cruise it will be a 70s party. There's a main bar down there as well. On this level though, we do see guest services, and just past the stairwell there you won't be able to really see it other than that TV. That is the Shore Excursions desk, where you can book your adventures at the ports you go to on your cruise. And then guest services is able to help you with anything from room charges to issues, so on and so forth. They're basically like front desk, if you will, on board the ship. So down here on Deck 4 These are the boarding areas. There's one on the other side as well, and then we look back towards the Centrum Area, and this is looking all the way up from where we just were with the nice glass elevator, open elevators here, clear see-through. We have a regular bar right here in the Centrum Area as well, and then this is just the big dance floor where they hold a lot of activities, and the stage here as well. Piano, band setup, everything like that. And then here you see the other boarding doors. The rest of this deck is pretty much staterooms. And that will pretty much conclude our tour of the Enchantment of the Seas and all the amenities and offerings from all around the ship. So we've arrived in the Bahamas, in Nassau, Bahamas, and we've exited our ship, Enchantment of the Seas, here. You can see the length of the ship. Obviously not as big if you check out our other video, again on Allure. Check out the outside where we were in a couple ports. You can see it's much bigger than this. But this is still a really nice ship so far. Again, we'll be showing you the ship highlights throughout, if not before this part of the video that I'm taking now. So we've arrived in Nassau. We've already taken some video from around Atlantis. We're going on the Aqua Venture today, which basically means we're just going to the water park and we're checking everything out. So while we're still shipside here in Nassau, I wanted to share a little interesting bit of information for those of you who don't know. Enchantment of the Seas was once a much shorter ship by about 108 feet. They actually cut the ship in half. Oh, not really directly in half, but they cut the ship apart, pulled it apart, and put in an extra section. This was before they thought ships like Oasis, Allure, Harmony would be built, even before the Freedom class, like Freedom of the Seas. So this section right here where you see these glass windows kind of midship and all the way up, of course, this whole section right here is actually put into place, welded in, sanded down. You can't even tell that this wasn't part of the original ship. We come through the shopping area and we've arrived here at our main destination for the day, which is Aqua Venture. So the rest of this video is actually going to be a tour of the water park, a good sized tour of what the water park has to offer. Here's the Mayan Temple on the right. We're going to take a look at almost all the angles of that. Then we're going to head over to the Temple or Tower of Power. That's home to 3 water coaster style slides, as well as a few more body slides. A lot of different offerings here at Atlantis, so we're going to be checking it all out. So here inside Atlantis Aquaventure, we could see this is the Mayan Temple, and this is the Challenger race slide. Basically, 2 racers can come down here and splash out. We're going to see one rider come out right now. And on the front side of this, they got a couple other slides we'll be checking out here in just a moment. On this side of the Mayan Temple, we see some incredible details. Just seahorses here, spraying water, like a little kid's splash area. Really fun. It just adds to the detail here at Atlantis. The 2 signature buildings that you always see in the commercials are right behind us here. We'll see the archway a little better again from a couple different angles. But this is the temple. Coming up, we're going to look on the front side, take a look at the shark slides. Slides that go through the shark tank, if you will. Go right through there. There's a tube slide and a body slide, so we'll be checking that out coming up next. So here we can see the signature slide that you see in all the commercials for Atlantis. And that tube actually goes right through the shark tank right here. That tube goes right through here. You can see the sharks swimming around. But this is the one you see in the commercials. I'll say first impressions of seeing the slide in person, it's not as big as the commercials make it look, but it's every bit as exciting. Now, something cool for those of you who don't like body slides, Atlantis also offers a tube slide that goes through the shark enclosure as well, the same tank here. This square box is actually a tube slide that starts just a level lower there at the top and comes down, winds around, comes down through this box, and then splashes out down here. And here's where you can see both the body slide splashes out on the right and the tube slide splashes out on the left. So there goes a tube splashing out. Over here in the distance is the main pool area, and this is the main Atlantis building, probably the best view we'll get of it all around the resort during our tour. So here we've come to the kids splash zone, kids splash play area. Standard what you'd expect. It's got like a temple, little splash bucket here with some water effects and features, little slides, couple twisting slides all around it. couple slides on the back side. You can kind of see the colors there at the bottom. So definitely a lot of offerings for all ages here at the Atlantis Resort in Nassau, Bahamas. So here we see the Power Tower water slides building, kind of on the back side of it. Again, this is home to a couple body slides, but mainly 3 water coaster style slides. And what's unique about this is the river rapids, which we'll be seeing highlights of. You actually float around the river rapids, get on a conveyor system, and ride all the way to the top to get on those slides. So once you're in the rapids, you actually never have to get out of the rapids, only at the end of the rapids themselves. The rapids do not go all the way around, or you cannot ride them all the way around, I should say. We'll be trying to catch a shot of the rapids coming up really soon. So before we continue with our look at the Power Tower slides, we've come to a beach. The beach here at Atlantis. One of the many beaches. Apparently, according to the map, there's like 3 or 4 here. So this will probably be our only one we get a look at. But you can see the waves coming in. Lots of nice space area here for this beach. So as we've walked around the outside sidewalk after seeing the beach there, we can now see the rapids. This is actually one of the exits from the slides or from the rapids themselves. The slides are on off in the distance there where we just were. We're going to try to go see if we can find the slides or a good viewpoint of the slides. But for those of you who have been on them before, they're just basically water coaster slides. You drop down, then you go up and down for a bit, and then you pop out here in these rapids and float all around. The rapids go on for a good long time. I mean, you could sit in the rapids and be on that ride for a good 20 to 30 minutes, it feels like. And the rapids do get pretty rough at certain points in time. Coming up here, it looks like we found the other beach. Seems to have beach volleyball. Looks like there's parasailing going on off in the distance there. But here in the distance, we can see this looks to be the main beach right out here. And the zoom in slow there. And you can see there's beach volleyball, jet skis, parasailing taking place again off in the distance. But here is the rapids continuing to float around that turn and go down into a cave right there. So actually up through the trees here is where all the tubes are for the water coaster. We're not going to be able to get really that great of a view of it. Just trust me, it's really exciting to check out all the slides inside this building. You can kind of see the netting there of where they first drop out, but that's about the extent of it. So we've arrived at a very windy Coco Cay. This is looking at one of the main beaches right now, and as we turn around, we're actually going to see the ship in the distance off in the water where we just came from. And as I zoom in here real quick for you, you can see the tender there on the side of the ship. That's where we just rode across to get over here to Coco Cay. And there's our look at our ship, Enchantment of the Seas. So I know the video is probably coming across very windy. Here's another look at a different beach at Coco Cay. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity's private island here. They share it. For those that don't know, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity are actually the same company now. Royal Caribbean owns Celebrity is the correct way to say it. Out here in the water, we have an Aqua Park. You can buy an excursion that basically gets you into this Aqua Park. There's also tons of other stuff to rent. There's jet skis, snorkel equipment, scuba. If you're scuba certified, you can actually go scuba diving out here. There's beach mats to float in the water, kayaking, and all sorts of different things to do. Another more onshore things we have are there's like a triple slide we're going to see in just a moment, and there's bocce, beach volleyball, all sorts of different stuff. Bocce courts are really cool looking, but over here is the slide you see through these carts that are passing us by. Here's the triple slide right here. Just a big inflatable slide with 3 things. Over in the distance there, you can kind of see the beach volleyball. It's really cool to see some bocce courts here on the island. Just one more thing to do here at Coco Cay in the Bahamas. And we're not too far from Nassau, where we were yesterday and we saw Atlantis. We're not too far from there at this point. So I mentioned we'd be off to the food. We're here at Blackbeard's Grill with some nice island music happening. And over here is where we'll be eating, checking out all the food. Actually, we've already been eating. So the offerings here seem to be kind of ribs, chicken, all sorts of different food items, mac and cheese. One of the signature things that they say you won't be able to get on the ship is actually gyros, which is back here. They have a whole gyro station where they're actually carving the meat right off the hole there. So you have the whole bar here for all the toppings for the gyros. And then the rest of the area is just pretty much barbecue, burgers, kind of a cookout style. They do have carved roast pork as well, that they're fresh carving over here. So you can see definitely a nice big spread, fresh fruits, good for a hot day. Just come over and pick up a slice of watermelon or pineapple or melon, cantaloupe, so on and so forth. And then they have burgers and, again, just kind of a cookout atmosphere here. So today we are in the Conch Republic, better known as Key West. Here's our ship alongside in port here at Key West. This is our last day of the cruise, and we're here in Key West today to check out the Shipwreck Museum and the aquarium. Maybe explore a few other things. We may look into the Hemingway House or whatnot if there's time, but we're definitely going to the Shipwreck Museum and the Key West Aquarium. So stay tuned for all of that. For those who have stayed with the video at this point, thank you so much for staying with and watching the whole video. I hope some of this has been informational. If you need any information or questions about Royal Caribbean cruises, we've been on quite a few and kind of know what we're doing for the most part, or know where to find the answer if we don't know the answer for sure. So coming up next, we'll be at the Shipwreck Museum and the Key West Aquarium. Stay tuned. So we've entered the Key West Aquarium now. Up front is a touch tank. Then we have a stingray, and there's a turtle in the middle tank. And then here we have the nurse sharks hanging out. This is just the indoor portion of the aquarium. It looks like there's going to be more outside to see, more exhibits to see outside. But this is kind of the main inside portion of the aquarium. You can see some cool murals up top there, as well as old pictures of the aquarium and old pictures from around Key West. Really neat exhibit with some full-size great white shark here, Atlantic manta ray. So we've come to our first outside viewing portion, and in this one of those smaller tanks we see alligators and American alligators and turtles. And then over here we see some cool landscape. This tank is home to barracuda. Looks like at least one turtle in there, as well as several other tropical fish. This is a hawksbill sea turtle inside the tank swimming around right here. So the other area of the Key West Aquarium is out here, basically on the back next to the water. We can actually see our ship from a certain angle. Mostly out here we have turtles as well. Here right below us is a turtle hanging out. Some cool murals painted. Another model of a big fish, looks like a swordfish here. And we'll get to see our ship again. The nose of our ship, actually. But here in this big area, we have some fish. Just hanging out. So then looking out towards the water, here we can see our ship. This is Enchantment of the Seas, once again. So that's about it from the Key West Aquarium. It's a small aquarium, but it's a really nice facility, really well laid out, well done. They appear to be a rescue rehabilitation facility, much like SeaWorld and all the other aquariums we go to in Florida. They're just looking out for the well-being of what they have and trying to educate their public on why conservation is so important and against the invasive species. Everybody. Welcome to the Key West Aquarium. So this is the Shipwreck Treasures Museum. We're about to head on in and check out all of the treasures inside and see everything we can see. There's a little bit of a show and an intro as we wait for that, and then we'll be headed in to start our look at the Shipwreck Museum. We'll also be going up in that tower, most likely. So really cool to see all of the stuff here in Key West, and then we'll be wandering off on further to find some of the other highlights of Key West. Here we are inside, getting our first look at the Shipwreck Museum, and over here looks like we have some Spanish-style treasures that we saw some pieces of 8 here. Those of you fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, obviously that's the Spanish treasures are kind of recognizable in some sorts. Just lots of different artifacts to be seen around here. We'll be checking out a few other pieces and different shipwreck discoveries inside the Shipwreck Museum. Now over here is an authentic silver bar. It is about 64 pounds of silver. They call it the cursed treasure because it was on 2 shipwrecks. It was on one shipwreck, then the other ship that found it also wrecked. So another nice feature of the Shipwreck Museum, which we're still currently at, is there's this big tower that you can climb to the top of and basically see all of Key West. As we started our video there, for this snippet, we see the Enchantment of the Seas, a lot better view here, looking out towards the Gulf of Mexico here, and here's the rest of Main City, Key West, looking this direction. So this is pretty much all of Key West right here, from way above. So here's a look at Sloppy Joe's Bar, home of the original Sloppy Joe, right here in Key West. So we won't be going in, but admission is $14 for adults and $6 for children. But this is the Ernest Hemingway house. Just taking a look at that right here. So not too far of a walk if you're coming off of a cruise ship. Not too far off the beach trail anywhere in Key West. Everything's pretty much within walking distance. We actually did the key lime pie place called Kermit's, which is home of the key lime pie, and it's pretty easy to explore all of Key West. If you can walk a theme park for a day, you can walk Key West in a day, in all honesty. Here we are at the southernmost point of the continental U.S., represented by this marker. We are just 90 miles from Cuba here. Here we see the big buoy, the tie-off spot here, and the huge line to take a picture with it.